The Pittsburg Steelers in Miami territory. We played 15 minutes of the 2006 NFL season. Miami nothing, Pittsburgh nothing. NBC's NFL kickoff special resumes after these messages.
Just right. Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
NFL season kicking off in Pittsburgh. The Steelers driving into Dolphin territory. No score at the end of the first. And more football, of course, Sunday, week 1 of the NFL season, which concludes on Sunday night. Before Monday night, of course, the talented Manning brothers face each other for the first time at Giants Stadium Sunday, September 10th, live on ESPN. The first time in NFL history that brothers will face off against each other as opposing quarterbacks. Sunday Night Football on ESPN.
With 45 yards, most of them on this drive. Nothing much in terms of yards per play, and this is really the only sustained drive of the game. Pittsburgh has had the ball for 6.5 minutes. This is the 11th play of the drive, and it's Parker getting inside the 30 to the 28-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and a short 3.
You know, we're talking about Jason Taylor and the way the Dolphins use him. We see here he is lined up down outside right. Here he is down outside on the left side. Here he is standing up on the right side as a linebacker. And here he is standing up as an inside linebacker. So they have to get Jason Taylor blocked. But the first thing they have to do is locate him. And the Dolphins make that tough for you.
3rd down and 2. Here comes the blitz. Back stays in. Protection is good. And getting open for the moment and making the catch is Nate Washington for a touchdown. Travaris Tillman got over there, but Washington got open, went up, grabbed it, and came across the goal line for a 27-yard touchdown, the first of the season.
Boy, that 4th down run for a first down was a big play. You see they get bunch out here. You're going to see Washington becomes the outside guy, and the ball gets here just a step before Tillman. Charlie Batch makes a heck of a throw because he kind of puts it where Washington is either going to go up and get it for a touchdown or it's going to be incomplete.
Washington did not have a catch in the regular season last year. In the playoffs, he had one against Denver, a big one. So this is his first ever regular season catch, and it's good for 6. Jeff Reed for the point after. Bardaki to hold. The Steelers had gone 3 and out on their first 2 possessions. Then they go 75 yards, 12 plays, 7 minutes, 21 seconds. 7-0 Steelers.
Friday night fights on ESPN. One of the most exciting super middleweights right now, undefeated Alan Green, continues to climb the rankings with his poise and determination. And now he'll do battle against an experienced Emmett Linton. Tonight on ESPN.
The League of the Stars continues with more live football action on ESPN. On Sunday from the Camp Nou Stadium, Ronaldinho, Messi, and Barcelona's powerful attack clash against the always dangerous Osasuna. Later, the game of the round live from Madrid. Javier Aguia's Atletico face off against a well-motivated Valencia. It's Barcelona-Osasuna, followed by Atletico Madrid-Valencia. It's Spanish football live this Sunday on ESPN.
In Major League Baseball, the area including and between the foul lines and foul poles make up fair territory. The area outside the foul lines and foul poles is considered foul territory. A fair ball is a batted ball that settles on fair ground between home and first base or between home and third base. If a hit is on or over fair territory when bounding to the outfield past first or third base, it is also fair. Any hit that touches first, second, or third base is also a fair ball. Any hit that first falls on fair territory on or beyond first base or third base is fair. This includes balls that land on the foul line. Any hit that, while over fair territory, passes out of the playing field in flight is fair. This includes any ball that hits the foul poles above the outfield fence.
Ward was the MVP of the Super Bowl. Again, did not play at all in preseason with a hamstring pull, but had little doubt that he'd be ready for opening night, and he wasn't lying. Reed to kick off, Welker back to receive it. Welker is going to have to either let it go into the end zone or pick it up, and he is fortunate that it crossed the goal line. He'll take it at the 20-yard line. This NFL kickoff special is being brought to you by Rocky Mountain Refreshing Coors Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. By Lincoln, reach higher. By Campbell's Chunky, official soup and chili sponsor of the NFL. And by Universal Pictures, The Black Dahlia, the director of Scarface. The Black Dahlia starts September 15th. Miami going against the black and gold right here from the 20-yard line. And we start with Ronnie Brown. Avoids a loss. Picks up about 2 yards. Ronnie Brown is one of those guys who a lot of people don't know very much about, but he's going to be the man now with Ricky Williams suspended. And, of course, he's one of those fellows who even in college he was overlooked because he's playing in the same backfield with Cadillac Williams. And when you play with a guy named Cadillac, you're always going to be the second guy.
Yeah, right. And then you wonder if, and last year, like you said, it was Ricky Williams. He's always had another guy. And the question is, can Ronnie Brown take the whole load?
That is a big question.
The old empty backfield.
2nd and 7. Culpepper gets it away quickly, and it's caught. And Polamalu is going to wrestle Welker down and may have denied him the first down by inches. It'll be 3rd down. Joey Porter that time with the pressure on Culpepper.
You know, talking to Culpepper last night about pressure and blitzes, he said, all I want to know, if they bring a blitz, who is not going to be blocked. He said, don't tell me who's going to be blocked and how we're going to block it. Tell me who the unblocked guy is so I know who that guy is, so then I know where he's coming from, so then I know that I have to get rid of the ball before he gets there.
Now Culpepper's going to keep it himself, and Dante weighs around 255 pounds. And, of course, prior to the knee surgery, one of the more mobile quarterbacks, great running quarterback, and picks up a first down on the sneak here.
And Dante Culpepper is one of the best quarterback sneakers I think that's ever been. I mean, when he was 265, I mean, he could just get that ball and just push it and get that first down.
Culpepper, who thought he'd always be a Viking. He was stunned when he found out last year that they were trying to unload him. 7 years in Minnesota. And now it is Dolphin debut. Has time. Slings it complete. He goes to the tight end, Randy McMichael, coming off a season in which he caught 60 passes. James Farrier makes the tackle. Culpepper had a couple of spectacular seasons in Minnesota. His completion percentage, the 3rd best in the history of the league. He has the 5th highest passer rating at 91.5. 4 seasons with 3,000 or more passing, 400 rushing. Only quarterback in NFL history to accomplish that daily double. And this is Brown. You know, the interesting thing is, too, and then he finds out he's going to get traded. He'd had the surgery, he rehabbed. And then Johnny told us last night, I hadn't heard this before, Tennessee wanted him. And Minnesota tried to convince him to go to the Titans, and he said, I don't want to go there. And he didn't.
No, he wanted to go to Miami, and he kind of controlled that. And like we're saying, why didn't anyone know that, that there was a chance for him to go to Tennessee, that they wanted him, and the Vikings wanted to trade him there. And Dante Culpepper is his own agent, so there was no agent to leak that story, and that's probably why the story's never been out.
Right, it's been very quiet. No quid pro quo. As Ronnie Brown gets tackled by Troy Polamalu. Meanwhile, in Miami, they needed a quarterback. Gus Frerotte was the quarterback last year. He went to St. Louis with Scott Linehan, who became the head coach there. Linehan was Saban's offensive coordinator. So with Frerotte gone, Nick Saban looked at Drew Brees. He looked at Brees, who was a free agent from San Diego. He figured Brees was coming off a shoulder. Culpepper coming off a knee. He thought it would be better to have a guy coming off a knee playing quarterback.
And I think he's right.
3rd down and 7. Brees, of course, wound up in New Orleans. And the catch is made at the 41-yard line, but no, incomplete. Marty Booker never had possession, and Booker is down. Marty Booker looked like he had it, and now Booker is hurt. Excellent wide receiver, big play man, caught 4 balls last year of more than 50 yards, and he's hurt.
And that's why you like Dante Culpepper, though. I mean, where he can stand back there and fire that ball like that, and he has great accuracy. Looked like Marty Booker just landed on the ball, didn't he?
Right.
ESPN brings you the best soccer action in the world. The UEFA Champions League, the most prestigious club event in European football. The FA Cup brings together only the best in England. Italian Serie A, 38 exclusive matches. International friendly soccer, featuring England, Germany and Ireland. European qualifiers, more than 30 games as they prepare for Euro 2008. And ESPN SoccerNet Press Pass wraps it all with shows on Monday and Friday night. The world's best soccer action, only on ESPN.
Marty Booker is just now being assisted off the field. John said he came down on the ball. That appeared to be the case. Nick Saban came out, and it appeared for a moment that he was going to challenge the call and say that Booker did make the catch before the ball came loose. But he had a discussion with Walt Coleman, and there will be no challenge on this.
Because Booker did catch the ball, and then as he was going down, and you have to keep control of it all the way to go to the ground. As he went down, he fell on the ball, and then it just popped out. You know, the one thing I think the Dolphins are, I mean, whether Marty Booker is back in the next series or not, they're going to have to start including Chris Chambers in this thing. I mean, you know, he's their big guy, and they haven't gotten the ball to him yet.
He's their Pro Bowl wide receiver. Donnie Jones will punt. Santonio Holmes to run it back. Holmes is going to field it inside the 4. Anytime a guy is a rookie and he fields the ball inside the 10-yard line, they always say it's a rookie mistake.
Yeah, you always do. And that was the first thing I thought, and the first thing I was going to say. We used to have a rule that the punt returner would stand on the 10-yard line. And if the ball was in front of you, you would return it. If the ball was going over your head, you would let it go into the end zone. I think Santonio Holmes on that one now was on the 5-yard line.
Right, and Cowher's talking
he is
about
right there, 4-yard line. I mean, you always let it go in the 4-yard line. Sure. I know that. I mean, maybe the 10-yard line rule isn't in vogue now, but I know the 4-yard line is.
So Holmes ran it back and then slipped the ball into the 6-yard line. And Bash will throw on first down out of the end zone, and it's caught by Parker. The funny thing, though, I always laugh about rookie mistake. John, they teach you in college. It's the same thing. What are you doing running a punt back from inside the 10 in college?
They teach you that in high school.
Right.
You know, that you stand on the 10. If it goes over your head, you let it go.
Son, this is the NFL.
That's exactly what Bill Cowher's telling him. You don't. When I put you back there, I put you back there because you have good hands, and if it's in front of you, you fair catch it. If it's over your head, you let it go into the end zone, and we could ball into 20.
9.5 to go in the half. 2nd and 7. Parker again. Parker, he'll chug along from 2, 3, some 4 yards, but then all of a sudden, as he showed in the Super Bowl and on numerous occasions last year, when he breaks one, he has earned the name Fast Willie Parker.
Right.
When he gets loose, you'll see why he's Fast Willie Parker.
And he has a burst, and the thing that they're trying to teach him, and you do this with all speed guys, is teach him patience. You know, and not to try and outrun everything, not to try to get everything to the outside, to cut it back, to keep it inside, and all those things. And that's what Willie Parker is shaking his head about now. He's saying, I'm trying it your way, and it really doesn't work that well.
You saw those numbers. He had 9 carries for 18 yards, and then the 75-yard touchdown run. And that pass is thrown behind Santonio Holmes, and Pittsburgh will send in the punting unit.
At that time, the Miami Dolphins got Charlie Batch on the blitz, and you see he's gonna feel the pressure here. He's trying to throw quickly to the left, and he had to hold the ball there. If he could have thrown it the first time that he wanted to, it would have been okay. But he had to hold it, have it up there, bring it back, and then when he came the second time, it was too late.
So Cowher shaking his head. That's what happens when your run-back man runs one back from the 4-yard line, and then you go 3 and out. Wes Welker takes the punt from Gardocki. Slips out of a tackle, gets into Pittsburgh territory, and sets Culpepper up at the 45-yard line of the world champions. 8 minutes and 30 seconds remaining after Harrison makes the tackle. First half, Pittsburgh 7, Miami nothing.
ESPN presents the start of a new season of the toughest league in the world, the Italian Serie A. This Sunday, Cagliari face off against the league rookie Catania. It's Cagliari against Catania this Sunday live on ESPN.
Steelers 7 and the Dolphins nothing in the second quarter. 8.5 minutes remaining in the half. Just 1 touchdown. Nate Washington, the second-year free agent from Tiffin College, from Charlie Batch, 46 seconds in to the second quarter, and the Steelers lead 7-0. Heinz Field, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The Miami Dolphins, their first ever visit to Heinz Field, as the Steelers, the defending Super Bowl champions, playing without their #1 quarterback, Ben Roethlisberger, leading 7-0 on the strength of a Charlie Batch touchdown pass. Now back to Pittsburgh.
8.5 to go. Pittsburgh on top 7-0. Ronnie Brown resets as the tailback. The fake to him. Brown stays in the block. Culpepper's going to go deep. Culpepper down the left sideline, and the pass is broken up. Taylor and Polamalu are both there as they finally go Chris Chambers' way. So it'll be 2nd down and 10. And speaking of that football, Commissioner.
Commissioner, here it is, and I'd like to give you the ball with your name on it. On the opening kickoff, we had him bring it up here, and I thought when a man gets his name on a ball and gets it kicked off, he ought to have the first one.
Well, that's very special, Coach, particularly coming from you, the Hall of Fame coach. So thank you very much. Is this the one that fell off the tee?
Yes, that's the one that fell off the tee, and there was later kick. But that's it.
Thank you. That's very special.
No, we don't fool around. That's the authentic one, and it's not going to wind up on eBay. I know that.
No, you're right.
2nd down and 10. Culpepper buying time, throws, and that's about an 8-yard gain. McMichael makes the catch, and you've got a penalty here. It's been basically a penalty-free half. Walt Coleman is the referee. We'll get the call here.
72, offense. 10-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
Negates the game. Were you watching in preseason when we were talking about after you'd gotten the job, and we had a shot? You've heard about this, or you saw this,
Of course I was watching. I'm always watching.
Here it is.
Yeah, I couldn't help myself but coach it on that one, right? I mean, here's your right foot pointed out. You know, it should be pointed straight ahead. And you have your right hand down and your right foot up. And then your dad's holding you up. And there's too many things wrong with that stance, really. You want to rebut that?
It's fair, Coach. I tell you, I was 7 years old, so, but listen, my head was up, my butt was down. That's pretty good.
That's how you start. Is that what your dad told you?
That's exactly what he said.
2nd and 20, and the catch is made here, Derek Hagan. But you can have either a 3-point or a 4-point stance, no matter which side of the ball you play on. Commissioner Paul Tagliabue left the league in very, very good shape. You take over at a great time. But looking at your agenda over the next 4 to 6 weeks, what's on your plate? What are the priorities?
Well, we got a lot of priorities, but the most important is to make sure the game stays strong and make sure that these fans, you see the excitement here in this stadium with 65,000 people. How do we make sure that the game stays strong and our fan base continues to grow? But we'll keep focus on that.
One of the questions, of course, and it's come into the news in recent years, is a strengthening of the drug policy, including, of course, human growth hormone, as that pass is incomplete. How much of a priority, how much importance will you lend to that in the short term?
I think it's important, Al. I've spent an awful lot of time with our experts, and the most important thing is for player safety. Make sure that our players are safe, make sure we take care of our players, but also really for the credibility of the NFL. We got to make sure we're held to a higher standard. We've got to make sure we meet that standard.
What do you think will create for a successful tenure? I mean, when you know, hopefully for you, 20 years down the line, you look back and say, what happened?
Well, if we keep the game strong, again, we've got a great game. We have a tremendously passionate fan base. If we can keep our game strong and we can continue to expand that would be a great achievement for me.
Roger, congratulations.
Thanks,
a long and successful run
Thank
for you.
Welcome back to NBC.
And here's something you'll never forget. There is the football.
That's great.
With Roger Goodell's name on it. We'll be back.
Thanks again.
Major League Baseball on ESPN. Saturday from Flushing. The Mets continue with the best record in the National League, and they're ready for a playoff tune-up when they host the Dodgers. Dodgers, Mets, Saturday live on ESPN.
NFL Seminole Fridays on ESPN. A review of the NFL's weekend matchups, expert analysis, discussions. Check your local listings. Time and place for you. Now back to Pittsburgh. The Steelers leading 7-0.
Very much tonight, but number 54, the middle linebacker, 11th year now out of Texas Tech.
Right, Zach Thomas came on a blitz on that one, Al, and Charlie Batch bootlegged right into him. Zach Thomas is in on everything. I mean, you watch him, and this is a guy who just loves football. He loves playing football. He loves practicing. He loves preparing. And in fact, you say, who's the biggest preparer in football and defense? It's probably Zach Thomas. Oh, there he is again.
2nd and 8. And, you know, when Thomas came into the league, he was a 5th-round draft choice back in 1996. And everybody said, oh, he's undersized. And, you know, that's a spot once patrolled by people like Nick Bonaconte, and here he is, a perennial Pro Bowler.
Yeah, because he just knows how to play. You know, I mean, you know, you can talk about height and weight, you know, and this number and that number, and they can vertical jump and they can do all that stuff and broad jump. But some guys are just football players. I mean, some guys just know how to play the game, and Zach Thomas is one of those guys.
Thomas and Taylor, the cornerstones of that very veteran Miami defense.
The Steelers are doing a good job of blocking Jason Taylor.
As they do here again. And that enables backs to launch one, and it's incomplete. The crowd's looking for a flag, and they won't get one. Cedric Wilson covered by Travaris Tillman. And you can see the back judge back there saying, no, no, no.
I tell you, but Charlie Batch is getting more confident because his offensive line is doing a good job, and he's getting more time to make throws like that. And I don't know, that looks like that hit is in there before the ball got there. That is pass interference.
But they never called it. Nuskardaki to punt. Of course, the crowd now seeing every replay.
Yeah.
Groaning again. The left-footed Gardaki sends one into the placid Pittsburgh night. Wes Welker, and Welker again with a good run back. Inside the 40, inside the 30, and Gardaki is the last guy who has a chance, and he is able to hog tie him out of bounds at about the 15-yard line. And Nick Saban talking about Wes Welker, and when he was discussing him last night, his eyes lit up. a receiver, an extra receiver, third, fourth wideout, but a great return man, 37 yards.
Yeah, because he does so many things for him, Al. As you said, he's the third wide receiver, but he has a lot of quickness. I mean, he makes that one cut, then he makes another cut, then he makes that third cut, and he has a little speed right there to get up the sideline. He's not a big guy, he's not a tall guy, but he's very, very strong.
Wes Welker, and he might see more action the rest of the night, at least for the moment, because Marty Booker is still out. Remember, Booker was shaken up on the last series, so he's not in the game. You got Culpepper working with a short field and great protection and throws, and it's caught by Brown, and that'll be a first and goal as he takes it to the 2-yard line. Tackled there by Ryan Clark. The new free safety, Joey Porter, also in on the stop.
You know, if there's any type of pattern that you could run in the preseason and early in the season, it's crossing type patterns. And you say, what can you do against this Steeler defense? Well, you can run crossing patterns, and that's what Ronnie Brown ran on that play. You're going to see he starts here, he goes through, goes up the field, and then he starts on a cross and ends up over there on the left side outside the numbers.
First and goal with 5:23 remaining in the opening half. Dolphins trying to tie it. They give it to the up back, and they get the touchdown. Going into the end zone, Brown, who lines up in a fullback position with the touchdown.
You see what they did? They brought Chris Chambers back into motion. He was in the tailback position. Ronnie Brown was the up back or the fullback position, and they handed to him. Here's Chambers. He's the second guy, and they just turn and hand to Ronnie Brown. Troy Polamalu was in there, and he missed the tackle. You don't see that often.
No, love that play. Love the design of that. Brown is big enough to be a fullback at 6 feet, 232 pounds. Olindo Mare for the extra point. So Wes Welker's run back sets it up. They go 15 yards for the score. 5:14 remaining in the opening half. On opening night, 7-7.
September 8, and on this day in 1984, the inaugural running of the Irish Group 1 race, the Champion Stakes, took place in Leopardstown, Dublin. The 10-furlong event was won by the Robert Sangster-trained Saddler's Wells, ridden by leading jockey Pat Edery. Also on this day, world champion Wang Junzia became the first woman to run the 10,000 metres in under 30 minutes, and in the process, slashed an amazing 42 seconds off the world record. The 20-year-old Chinese girl, who finished without any competitors in sight in Beijing's Workers' Stadium, clocked 29 minutes, 31.78 seconds to clinch the world record. And the St. Louis Cardinals' Mark McGuire broke the 37-year record for the most home runs hit in a single season when he struck number 62 on this day, September 8.
Wes Welker setting up the touchdown, a sequence of events that the Steelers would love to forget because they thought they got jobbed on a no call here. Wilson interfered with by Tillman, but there was no flag. That created a punt. That created this run back by Welker as he got free and is able to run the ball back 47 yards to set him up at the 15-yard line. And then after a first and goal, it's Brown out of the fullback slot who takes it in, and we're knotted. Olindo Mare now in his 10th season. 7-yard line, Ricardo Coakley. And Coakley's going to break it. And Mare, with a flag coming in, Mare couldn't trip him up. They'll tackle him at the 31-yard line, but you saw the flag come in, and the flag is down at the 38-yard line.
In fact, it's at the 33. The official just picked it up and dropped it back on the 33-yard line.
Holding, 92, return team. 10-yard penalty, first down.
That's James Harrison, the backup linebacker. So instead of a run back that puts them deep in Miami territory, they'll begin this drive from back at about the 20-yard line.
You're going to see here he is right here. There's Harrison Holden right there. Heck, he has a hold with both hands. That's a real hold.
No doubt about that one.
You have your hold, you know, when you slipped one arm in there and you pulled it over, you had one hand. That was both hands, both arms holding on.
It'll be on an officiating tape. So they start from the 23-yard line, and Vonnie Holiday tackles Willie Parker after a gain of 3 yards. And Willie Parker tonight really yet to get on track. He's carried the ball a dozen times for only 25 yards.
Well, he had that one big one, though, that 4th down where they ran that option, that speed play out to the left and got him a 1st down. And then they took that and converted and went in and scored a touchdown. So that was he doesn't have good numbers, but he had one big play in this game that really helped give the Steelers 7 points.
2nd and 7 now from the 26-yard line. A dump off to Parker. He's going to get chased. Turns it back inside and picks up the 1st down. Crowder made the tackle after he was able to get around another Dolphin.
You know, that's the great thing, Al, about speed is you say he's being chased. When you have speed, you're being chased, you don't get caught. I mean, you know, he was a kid, you know, that was never it in tag because he just has more quickness and speed than the rest of the guys. And if you give him a step, he is going to get that 1st down for you. I mean, that play should have been no yardage at all.
Got around Spragan, 2nd undrafted running back. The other would be Priest Holmes, the only undrafted backs to gain more than 1,200 yards. And Willie Parker, he did get on track in a hurry. The minute you mentioned it, he picks up another 1st down. He broke out of a Zach Thomas tackle that time.
Yeah, it's just like Russian roulette, isn't it? You know that you just keep giving it to him, and there's going to be a point. Remember the Super Bowl? He just, boom, he just breaks one away. Here it is now. He starts to the inside, bounces to the outside a little, off a Zach Thomas tackle right there, and then just keeps going.
That's the direction he went in the Super Bowl, except he had Faneca pulling and making a block to spring him that time. This is a 32-yard gain.
I like the way he finished off that run. You know, I mean, a lot of backs are good at starting runs and in the middle of runs, and they're not quite as good at finishing. But Willie Parker finished that one.
Now they give Parker a rest, and thus Haynes comes into the game to give him a blow. The ball at the 30-yard line after a gain of a couple. And speaking of that 75-yard run in the Super Bowl, not only going into the record, but a huge play considering when it happened in that circumstance. And there he was, angling off the right side and gone.
I was watching him in practice the other night, the Steelers practice tonight, and when he breaks something like that and runs by you, you can just feel his burst in his speed.
Feel the breeze. Going deep into the end zone and almost intercepted by Allen. Wilson was double covered that time. Allen was there, and Travaris Tillman coming over from the safety spot. 3rd down and 7.
You know, the Pittsburg Steelers are still a gadget or gimmick or trick play team, and this is kind of an area in the field. Now, not necessarily on 3rd down, but this is an area in the field that they like it. You know, that reverse pass and stuff. They don't have Randall L. this year. You say, who is that guy? That guy that they're trying is Cedric Wilson. So if they have a reverse pass, the guy throwing it will be Cedric Wilson.
Ken Wisenhunt has a bunch of them in the playbook. Randall L., they let him go. He's now with the Redskins. Out of the gun. Pressure on. Batch down the sideline and incomplete, but this time the flag is thrown. Wilson that time covered by Andre Goodman. So Wilson didn't get the flag on the other side on the last sequence, and this time it is Goodman who's in the starting lineup because of the injury to Travis Daniels.
Pass interference,
coming over from
29.
the Lions.
Defense. Automatic 1st down.
What they did is they had single coverage back on this side and the left side. They had an overload on the other side, so they went away from the 3-man side, come back to the 1-man side here, and you can see that both of them are kind of pushing here. Although Goodman does have his arm hooked, doesn't it? I think that's probably what they called, because it looked like Wilson was pushing a little too, but maybe just trying to get away from the hook.
23-yard penalty. Willie Parker is back. 1st and goal at the 7-yard line.
This is where they like Hines Ward down here.
That's looking that way. Ward covered. Comes the other way. Throws it away. And that is really throwing it away. Halfway to Homestead. 2-minute warning. It comes with 1:56 on the clock. Opening night, first half, in the home of the world champions. Miami 7, Pittsburgh 7.
No blinking, flinching, or twitching.
There's no room in there. There's no space.
Not when victory is measured by millimeters.
We call it the madhouse. Great comeback.
The competition is dead brilliant. And if they're on target, the Yanks may beat the Europeans at their own game. $1 million US at stake. The World Series of Darts. Tonight, only on ESPN. The thrills just keep on coming with the IndyCar Series on ESPN. The season is down to the final race, and it's a four-man battle for the points championship. Castro Nieves, Hornish, Weldon, and Dixon race for the ultimate checkered flag. The 2006 IndyCar Series Championship. The thrills just keep on coming. The Chicago Indy 300, Monday on ESPN.
And we're back on second down and goal with backs throwing to the back of the end zone. And the official takes one more look and signals touchdown. Hines Ward with control and possession. And John said this is just the part of the field they begin to look for Hines Ward. And there he was, toe dancing the back line of the end zone.
I think when you get in this situation, you have to get the ball to your playmaker. Who's your playmaker, the receiver? It's Hines.